Yeah, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Hard to do one of these with that up-tempo, happy ditty in the background. Ohio State, not ideal situation, and as many of you have no doubt already seen, the fire guard timber is definitely becoming a thing now. Whereas just 2 weeks ago, it had been uh, by all accounts vanquished. So let's do this. I have 4 points as to why we should not fire Guard and why that's not serious talk right now. First of all, is the players on this team are good. So, in past Badger teams, when there have been issues, it's often been a talent issue. And it's not to say you cannot have improvements at you can always have better players at various positions or greater depth. Of course you can. But as far as the talent on the board, this team has guys. Store, Klesmit, Hepburn, Wall. I mean, they're not losing these games because they're not talented enough. So that part of it is, I don't think we need to worry about that. Wisconsin has the talent to be good and to be as good as they are, as good as they've shown prior to the slump. So we can put that one to bed. The system is sound. Okay. It's so easy to say fire guard. Oh, we'll just hire Shaka Smart or blah, 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 all these other names, Nate Oates, and these guys that, even if they had interest, there's very little evidence that any of them would be upgrades to Greg Gard, given his track record and what he's doing this year. Even this system is sound. So slow, boring Badger ball. They're scoring fine. Scoring is not an issue this year. If anything, it's the defensive efficiency that's gone down. Now number 40 in Ken Palm. But this is, even with the recent slump, Wisconsin is still a top 15 national Ken Palm adjusted offense team. Okay. Their efficiency on the season is very good. His offense is fine. Now, would it help to make more 3-pointers? It doesn't mean they don't have the talent. The things that happened earlier this season, those wins that they had, those shots that went down, those were not flukes. That was not a smoke magic show. Some really good teams there behind Wisconsin based on the stuff they've done in the analytics, which does not get emotion into it. Speaking of analytics, I think I kind of focused on that, but besides the system being good, I just touched on this. The analytics are sound. Okay, yeah, some haven't been great the last few games, but the numbers, the number crunchers that the nerds put out, give a picture of a team that's a very good basketball team, not an okay team, not an elite team, certainly not a horrible team, but a good, very good basketball team. The losses are the outlier based on the analytics. Does that mean Wisconsin cannot lose every one of the rest of their games? I mean, this is the real world. I mean, computers don't play basketball, but it's highly unlikely. And I do believe this is an aberration, troubling one as it may be. And finally, and this is the least scientific and the most subjective of all of them. This is a gut feeling based on my own eyes. Okay. I've been a Wisconsin Badger basketball fan. I've done a lot of deep dives for many, many years, decades, seen them come and go. Okay. And when I posted something after the Michigan loss, relating to the 2013-2014 Badger season under Bo Ryan, a season that they were a late Harrison 3-pointer away from going to the championship game against UConn. That team lost 5 of 6 games at almost exactly the same time in the Big Ten season, out of nowhere. They were number 3 in the country before it, like Wisconsin was number 6 before this slide, and ended up unranked after that last loss, which I believe is to a ranked Ohio State team, a number 24 Ohio State team back in 2014. What did that team do? They went on a huge hot streak, found their sea legs, and ended up being one of the best teams in the country. Now, because I know how people operate, I am not comparing the 2023-24 Badgers to the 13-14 Badgers. This team is not as good, does not have the depth. You can argue it doesn't have the coaching. Greg Gard is great. He's not Bo Ryan. It's a fact. But there were a lot of people don't remember this. A lot of fire Bo. Bo doesn't get it. He's never going to win the big one. Blah blah blah. Going on at that time for a coach that had one Elite Eight in his first 13 years and nothing better. Many people had resolved that he was never going to get the Badger to the promised land. Not a perfect overlay to Gard, but there are a lot of similarities. Anyway, getting back to this season, that doesn't, of course, mean that Wisconsin's going to go on a hot streak now and finish out the same way that the 13-14 Badgers did. It's just, and I'm not saying they're the same team, but it's just an indication that you should take a deep breath, take a pause. This does not mean it's the end of the world. But saying fire Gard and making a conclusion that the program needs to go in a completely new direction after this 5-game period, it's ridiculous. Don't do it. Resist these devils in your mind. Okay? Resist these devils. Now, we will revisit this as in the coming weeks, but a lot of games left to be played. So let's keep pushing. Hope for a breakthrough for these guys. And as always, don't attack them on social media. Personally, it's just that's weak and ridiculous. You're bigger. Well, maybe you're not better than that, but you should be. Anyway, Scary Alvarez signing out from a very frustrating Madison, Wisconsin.